The KEEL Morning.
Good morning. It's 3 past 6 o'clock. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app, a free download. More on that in a bit. Speaking of more, Erin has local news up next.
A local teacher and coach has died. We'll talk more about that. Big changes to getting admitted to LSU. That's coming up. And Louisiana senators react to the latest in the Kavanaugh case.
Yeah, we definitely have to talk about the new LSU admission policy. I am fascinated by that. Good thing Matt has a hat on because his head may explode.
Yep.
What an interesting evening we had last night.
Boy, was it.
And we will give you details. And Erin McCarty may have... may be really smart.
Oh.
I'll
He
tell you
hated to say that.
Tell you about that in the first segment. Fletcher Sports, traffic, and weather coming up this hour, and it's here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Coach dies in a car wreck. Counseling now available for students. We get more from Matt Parker.
Longtime North Caddo High teacher and coach Les Mason was killed in a car crash Thursday morning. Mason was on his way to a special education training session when his car collided with a dump truck that failed to yield at a stop sign. Counselors will be on campus today to help any teachers or students deal with the loss. In a statement, school officials say Mason was more than just a coach or teacher. He was a father figure who was an integral part of the school and community. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A Greenwood police officer recovering after being hit by a pickup truck on Highway 169 last night. Officer Chris Farris was directing traffic around a disabled tractor trailer and tow truck when he was struck by the pickup. Farris was taken to the hospital for treatment and released. He's a 6-year veteran of the force. 2 Republican senators from Louisiana expressed their satisfaction with the findings of the 5-day FBI investigation into accusations of sexual misconduct against Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Senator John Kennedy, who sits on the Judiciary Committee, says after reading through the report, he wishes the report could be made public.
There are things in there that I think would make it even clearer that, in my opinion anyway, that politics has been involved in this.
Today, the Senate plans to vote to end the debate on the Kavanaugh nomination with a full floor final vote set for tomorrow. LSU's Board of Supervisors approves a change to its admission standards. The new rules will no longer rely heavily on ACT and SAT scores and will look more at essays, recommendation letters, and extracurricular activities. While many in the state education community are critical of the change to the 30-year-old policy, members of the board say it makes LSU more competitive while trying to get the best and brightest students from around the country. The Department of Health recently released its voluntary non-opioid directive as a new tactic in combating opioid abuse. Dr. Janice Peterson with LDH says the form is meant to be used by patients as a communication tool with care providers.
They don't know how to express themselves with asking the doctor, can you give me something other than an opioid? This allows them to have something to give to the doctors to help explain their situation.
Peterson says although the prescription rate for the drugs is going down, the deaths in the state are still going up. The Caddo Sheriff's Office will be looking for some new recruits this weekend. The recruiting event will be held at Sheriff Safety Town tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 2. Toyota has issued a recall for 2.4 million hybrid vehicles around the world, including 800,000 in the U.S., potential problems with stalling. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Ooh, Friday. Little overly excited there, sorry. Trans-channeling my inner choir boy. Traffic update for Friday. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, hot, and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 11 past 6 o'clock. 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. That KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. You're like a genius, and I didn't.
And let me just tell you about
What?
that app coming real soon.
Yeah.
I've got some Harry Connick tickets that we're going to give away just through the app. So if you don't have it, you might start thinking
So you
about
got a
it.
plan here.
I do have a plan.
You don't have many plans, but when you do,
Yeah, I'm working on it.
they're limited ones.
I'm fomenting it.
Well, we came up with a plan yesterday. And I got to tell you, the more I thought about it and the more I heard from people, it was my idea, but you sort of glommed onto it and threw out a couple more ideas and a couple of little caveats and or addenda.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely brilliant.
Does it have to do with the Houston story?
No.
Okay, thank God.
No, we'll get back to that.
Oh, God, please no.
'Cause I can't wait to hear what Matt says.
Oh, yeah.
No, I came up with the idea yesterday that we need to figure out a way to bring Donald Trump to Shreveport.
Okay. I've tweeted at him. No tweet
So
response yet.
look, and I'm being totally serious. The reason, the biggest reason Donald Trump might not come to Shreveport, and I said, you don't think you couldn't get 20, 30? Good Lord, there's a hair on the microphone.
Ooh.
Bleh. Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
Ooh.
We know
not
it ain't
mine.
yours.
We know it ain't mine.
Oh, that's cold.
No, that's okay. Because it's
Ooh.
Give me a
Got
moment.
in your mouth?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It was across like the bug screen.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, if you're watching on the Facebook video, okay, this is called the bug screen.
Yeah.
And it's the little black foamy thing
It's a fuzzball.
that goes over the microphone to keep you from popping your peas.
Yeah.
Not that I do, because I'm a professional broadcaster.
Whatever.
But, God, it's still there. So I came up with this idea yesterday that we should make every effort as midterms approach to get Donald Trump to come to Shreveport for a speech. The reason he might not is because we are, at least in northwest Louisiana, and in fact sort of across all of North Louisiana, a pretty red section of the country. It's not like Mike Johnson's congressional seat is really in any danger. You know what I mean?
Right.
But on the other hand, here's where you went genius on me. Mm-hmm. Because I had said, if we could get Donald Trump to come here, he could give a speech at Hirsch like Bush did, or better yet, because I saw the story wherever he was at Charleston, I forget, but people were lined up to get into the arena as early as 4 a.m. for an evening speech. Mm-hmm. And I know that we could probably get 30,000, 40,000 people into Independence Stadium for a Donald Trump speech.
Yeah.
But then you came up with something that was even more brilliant.
I think we bring him to the GM plant.
Yeah. Look.
I think we have a big rally there.
Who is the greatest real estate salesman in the history of the world?
Yeah, Donald Trump's pretty darn good.
Can you imagine the president of the, and I am 100% serious. Can you imagine the president of the United States speaking to America, to the world, from our General Motors plant, our empty, our vacant, General Motors plant,
with a hard hat on and all that.
telling everybody that we're looking for a renter or a buyer.
We need a car company here.
We need something there. And him out there selling it. I am being 100% serious.
Awesome.
And I think everything could be, Erin literally yesterday started sending emails and texts and tweets to people at the White House, to all the people. We had Mike Pence on about, a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I'm connecting with his people.
And you got a few numbers then. So she's sending out tweets, emails, couple of faxes. She's even trying old school telex. She doesn't care. The point being, I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
If there is one human being who could motivate people, who could sell our because whoever we got now, we know who it is, not to mention names, it's sitting out there empty. He could be the guy. Yes, said Donald. Yes, Parky.
There's one little flaw in your plan.
What?
One minor, detail that you're missing.
Tell me.
Technically, there is a tenant out there.
Oh, he could deal with them. He could put them out on their butts in a heartbeat.
Just saying. I mean, technically, the building isn't for sale or rent because there is someone in the building.
What are they doing out there?
They're not doing anything. I'm just saying, technically, it is their building.
Who's they?
Elio, man.
Well, the parish owns it. They paid $7 million for it,
and then they gave it to the other folks.
Gave a lease out,
and then Lichter is handling the sale and or
I think
rent.
the parish and the with the president at the table, we could get the building back.
Look, if he could bring Canada, if he could bring Mexico, if he can bring North Korea to the table, I can't imagine he couldn't work a deal with a car company that doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay. Things to do this morning. I asked Erin coming in. I said, "Who's on the guest list today?" And she said, "I don't really know."
Somebody somewhere.
I know Wags will be here.
Stephen Wagaspacki, president of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry.
I'm not sure who I'm up to texting this morning or who I'm up to chatting with today. It may just be another day of you and I.
We were at the
fighting.
Doty Horton rally last evening.
Oh, yeah.
And surprisingly, but we were honored to do so, Miss Doty asked us to get up and say a few words.
Yes, she did.
And the first thing McCarty says is, "You ready for this?"
No.
Because there's a lot of politicians, a lot of business people, a lot of movers and shakers of Bossier Parish in that room. And Erin says, first thing she says is, Thank you for having us tonight. Just by a show of hands, who in this room have I texted before 7 in the morning? And about half the room raised their hand.
I believe that.
And the other half threw their napkins.
Yeah.
So Stephen Wagaspack, who was one of the attendees last evening.
Yeah, I mean, she had Jeff Landry was here. I want to say John Schneider.
Yeah,
John Schroeder was
he
here.
got out of the General Lee and wandered on in.
Mike Johnson was there. I mean, it was an
awesome evening.
It
More
was
details
a
on
whodunit
that.
crowd.
More.
I mean, what am I trying to say? Who's who crowd?
No, I like whodunit
Not
crowd.
whodunit.
Yeah, exactly. More on our evening with Miss Doty.
Can I recreate my question I asked him later?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, because you said you had a better.
I missed the line.
She wants to redo her bit.
Yeah, I do.
18 past 6 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. I almost said your money now. We're both a little off the game this morning.
We are,
I can tell.
We apologize. And, we were up till almost 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's rough.
8:15 will kill a person. Just saying.
Well, if you're over 75, I guess.
Whoa.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Traffic and weather coming up right now. Almost said Brandon. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, hot, and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
.56 Pain and Simple.
.117 FM, 710 Keel, 20 after 6 o'clock. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Captain Shreve kick-started the football week with a resounding 23-2 win over Parkway in District 1 5A action Thursday night. The Gators' DJ Fleming racked up over 180 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns for Shreve to help them improve to 5-1 overall, 1-1 in district play. The typical smorgasbord of games awaits fans tonight. District games in 5A and 4A dot the schedule. Couple of interesting non-district games highlight the ledger, with Calvary hosting Loyola and North Webster entertaining Logansport. In the NFL, Tom Brady threw the 500th touchdown pass of his career as part of his 3-touchdown, 341-yard night. He also snuck in a rushing touchdown in the 38-24 win over the Colts. The Patriots are now 3-2, Colts 1-4. Houston rallied past Tulsa in college football 41-26. Former Northwood star Marquez Stevenson had 7 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown for the Cougars. In National League divisional play, Mike Mustaka singled in Christian Yelich with 2 outs in the 10th inning to give Milwaukee a 3-2 win over Colorado in Game 1 of their series. At Chavez Ravine, the Dodgers' Hyun Jin Ryu threw 7 shutout innings, and L.A. clubbed 3 homers in a 6-0 win over Atlanta to get their best-of-5 set underway. The Astros host Cleveland this afternoon in Game 1 of their series. The Red Sox and Yankees play Game 1 tonight as well. And former Calvary star and LSU All-American Sam Burns shot an even par round of 72 in his debut as a full-fledged member of the PGA Tour in the Safeway Open. Sepp Straka leads after 1 round with a score of 9 under. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
Did you hear what Matt said?
Uh-huh.
That's one day. One day that's how it's going down for me. I'm just in the middle of the show throwing up my hands saying, screw it, walking out of here right in the middle.
Just throwing my headphones against the wall and storming out in the middle of the show.
The radio equivalent of a pile of mail just sitting here on the studio floor.
Oh, boy.
101.7 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Okay, so what did you want a second shot at? Last evening, we were invited by Dodie Horton and friends and staff.
Thank you, Miss Dodie. It was a wonderful meal. It was a wonderful crowd. It was so good.
State Attorney General Jeff Landry was there, Congressman Mike Johnson, State Treasurer John Schroeder, Representatives Alan Seabaugh and Raymond Cruz, who I got to hang out with him and his wife a little bit. It was just an awesome evening.
It was a great evening. Jane Smith was there. There were so many folks.
Oh, my gosh, yes. I apologize for forgetting. So at the end of the evening, to our surprise, after the featured speakers, Miss Dodie called us up to say hello and thanked us to say a few words.
Yeah.
And I just talked about them meaning Horton and Seabaugh and Cruz, what I respectfully called during all those tax special sessions, that Trinity of No.
Yep.
In fact, was that who told that story? Was it Schroeder?
One of them talked about the Gang of No. Yeah.
No, but about Dodie sitting in the front row on Ways and Means?
Yeah.
And with a smile on her face?
No, that was Wags.
No.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm going, yes, yes, yes. So anyway, I just paid tribute to my Trinity of No, specifically Miss Dodie, because it was her night.
Yeah.
And then handed you the microphone, and you launched into this thing about, you started talking about, I remember because it was awesome. Who here have I texted before 7 o'clock in the morning? And half the room raises their hand.
Well, I missed the line.
No hard feelings.
I missed the line because there was a great line earlier in the night.
Right.
And I should have referred back to it. Can I recreate the moment?
Absolutely.
Are you ready?
Sure.
Thank you guys for having us. This is such a great event. I just want to ask you a question. Who in the room have I texted before 7 a.m.?
And half the room
raises
raises their hand.
And we chuckle. And
Well,
that's because I have pecans.
That's right.
I missed it.
Holy cow.
I missed the line.
Who originally said?
Schroeder.
Okay, they go.
Oh, it was too good.
Yeah.
Forever, I'm going to say I have pecans.
He was referring to
Dodie's, yeah.
Yeah.
She has
her bravery.
Her bravery, her courage. Ladies and gentlemen, he goes, I don't know how to say it in mixed company. Let me just say, Dodie Horton's got a pair of pecans.
Yes.
And I should have said I got a pair of pecans.
Yeah, well.
Because don't I ever.
You lose your breath, you lose your
And
turn.
then I told them the Coach O story, which some of them had already heard.
You're an embarrassment to all of us. I just want to go on record saying that publicly.
We will cover a little LSU football, speaking of Coach O, in the next segment.
Yeah.
Then the segment after that, we will pick up where we left off yesterday. In fact, I don't know.
Oh, boy.
That didn't start really heat up, so to speak, until about 7:30 and then the 8 o'clock hour.
I've got to find out what Matt thinks about it.
And we're talking about you know what story we're talking about?
No, I was out yesterday. I was about to ask. Catch me up. Fill me in.
There was a story. The Houston, Texas City Council passed a bill, an ordinance that expanded the definition of what a sex shop or the sex trade is in order to keep from opening a robot brothel.
Interesting.
Yeah. And Erin was saying they should, it's prostitution. And I said, look, no matter how you feel about it, if it were prostitution, it would already be illegal, so evidently it's not.
Well, Matt, pretend like you're married.
Yes.
10 years, okay? And your wifey comes home one day.
Hold on. Let's go to break.
Can I ask him this later?
Well, ask it in its simplest form, and then for the 40 segment, I want you to pull up the poll that you put at keelnews.com.
Oh, I got to see how the poll's doing.
Because her question was, is sex with a robot cheating?
We may have to call it something different today in light of the topic. Let's call it a survey.
Good choice.
Robert doesn't get it, I guess. Maybe.
Robert gets it. Robert just wishes you weren't an 8th grader at heart. 28 past 6 o'clock. It's 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Local news on the way. Traffic update for Friday. Here's Brandon Rubin.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast: partly sunny, hot and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The two Republican senators from Louisiana expressed their satisfaction with the findings of the FBI investigation into accusations of sexual misconduct against Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Senator John Kennedy says no one directed the FBI in the investigation and that the agency made its own decisions in the report. He also says such acts of misconduct are a problem that need to be dealt with, and he hopes the Republican Party is willing to take the lead.
There's a problem in America with sexual harassment. It is prevalent, but I'm convinced that Judge Kavanaugh is innocent.
Today, the Senate plans to vote to end the debate on the Kavanaugh nomination with a full floor vote tomorrow. Longtime North Caddo High teacher and coach Les Mason killed in a car crash Thursday morning. Mason was on his way to a special ed training session when his car collided with a dump truck that failed to yield at a stop sign. Counselors will be on campus at the school today to help any teachers or students deal with a loss. In a statement, school officials say Mason was more than just a coach or teacher. He was a father figure who was an integral part of the school and community. A patrolman hit while directing traffic. Matt Parker with that.
A Greenwood police officer is recovering after being hit by a pickup truck on Highway 169 Thursday night. Officer Chris Ferris was directing traffic around the disabled tractor-trailer and tow truck when he was struck by the pickup. Ferris was taken to the hospital for treatment and was released overnight. He's a 6-year veteran of the force. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
LSU's Board of Supervisors approve a change to the admission standards. The new rules will no longer rely heavily on ACT and SAT scores and will look more at essays, recommendation letters, and extracurricular activities. The Caddo Sheriff's Office will be looking for some new recruits this weekend. The recruiting event will be held at Sheriff Safety Town tomorrow from 9 to 2. The event will give those interested in a career in law enforcement a chance to meet staff members and learn about open positions on the force. Vice President Mike Pence discussing the administration's policies toward China, accusing that government of attempting to advance their political interests within the U.S.
Our intelligence community says that China is targeting U.S. state and local governments and officials to exploit any divisions between federal and local levels on policy. It's using wedge issues like trade tariffs to advance Beijing's political influence.
Pence making his remarks at the Hudson Institute. An Arizona beef company recalling millions of pounds of ground beef that might be contaminated by salmonella.
The CDC says JBS Tolleson is recalling 6.5 million pounds of ground beef. It was produced and packaged from late July through the first week of September. So far, 57 people have been sickened in 16 states. 14 people have been hospitalized, though thankfully no one has died. The meat went out to retail locations, including restaurants.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. And a 2-year-old in Utah sent an envelope filled with more than $1,000 in cash into a shredder. Mom says the little boy helps her shred the junk mail, and he apparently found the envelope and just thought he was helping her out. Well, believe it or not, there is a government office that can help. They will have to mail the shredded bills back in Ziploc bags, and in 1 to 2 years, they can get their money back. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Jack Spring electric shock buster button, functional, yet hopefully unused.
You never know. We both had a lack of sleep.
Yeah.
This could be interesting.
Couple of drinks. This could come off the rails pretty fast. Matt's been gone a couple of days, and he came in this morning and he said, dozens of people told me you look stupid.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, what are you talking about? He said, I don't know. I just know that dozens of people told me you look stupid. And I said, well, when you say dozens of people, do you mean like 1 or 5? He said, no, dozens. I said like 12 or 24 or a gross, i.e. 144. And he said, no, about 36.
A baker's dozen or two. That's about accurate.
And that's actually 13. The only thing I can assume is when he said I looked stupid is the hat I had on the other day.
Yeah.
I had on this goofy little Adidas bucket hat.
Think Gilligan.
Well, that would make sense because someone did send me a GIF on my phone of Gilligan when they said Robert
That
looked
was
stupid.
what it was.
Okay.
Because here's the deal, and I don't know if other men are like this, but there's things like, and maybe you understand, although you are markedly more fashion conscious and dapper than I could ever hope to be. The point being is that sometimes you put something on at the house, and you look at yourself in the mirror and you go, you know, that looks pretty good. I'm kind of jamming here. I'm wearing this. But then you go out and you see yourself later, as was the instance with the hat, and you see yourself on video.
Oh, boy.
And you go, God.
Who's that creepy old guy?
I look like a doofus.
Yeah.
I need to set fire to that thing,
Mm-hmm.
throw it in a dumpster, and hope for the best.
Right.
Wow. So that's the only thing that I can assume. That's what that you're referring to.
I guess. But, you know, in your defense, bucket hats are in with the older generation.
Exactly right. You might want to step back. A tooth might hit you. LSU plays what time tomorrow?
2:30 tomorrow.
This
in the swamp.
This should be. It's on the road in Gainesville.
Hostile territory.
At Florida.
Mm-hmm.
How many
They'll
points?
be doing the gator chomp.
How many points is that worth? 3, 7, 10?
That's a 7-point advantage.
Okay, because LSU's like about a 6.5 or 7-point favorite.
Yeah, you come in even.
Does this make the game a toss-up?
It makes it a toss-up. Yeah, the home field at Florida is pretty big.
Are you more concerned? Well, you didn't think they were going to beat Auburn. Are you more concerned about this game than you were going into Auburn or even going before the Miami game?
No, because watching them play Kentucky, I was not
Auburn,
impressed.
Florida, you mean?
Yeah, I was not impressed. I don't think Florida's that great of a team. I think they're mid-pack SEC.
Yeah.
My worries are going to be Georgia and Alabama.
So, given LSU's history that they tend to look past mediocre opponents, doesn't that concern? How much do you think the LSU tradition of looking past mediocre opponents applies here? If the home field advantage of Florida is 7, how many points does Florida get for the traditional LSU attitude of playing down to their opposition?
I don't think LSU's going to play down. I think they realize this is a big SEC road game, and I think they're going to get up for it. I'm hopeful they get up for it. They have to. It's a big SEC road game, and it really is, in my opinion, a toss-up.
I'm still a little surprised that you weren't more upset the last couple of days when we covered that ESPN story of, in the opinion of ESPN writers, 9 college football teams that still have a chance to make the CFP, College Football Playoff, Final Four, and LSU was not among them. Michigan was still on the list. Washington was still on the list. LSU, not on the list.
I'm not happy about that.
639, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The website is keelnews.com. You might want to take a look and take the poll about the sex robots. We will cover that next because we've got lots and lots and lots of listener response. Traffic update now. Here's Ruben.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. Today will be hot and humid, partly sunny with a high of 91, patchy clouds and warm, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. We're here. Robert nodded off.
Thanks for jumping in.
Dear Lord.
I was looking for my teeth. They're on the floor somewhere. Okay. KeelNews.com is the website. Well, let's back up a bit.
Yeah.
Do you have in front of you the news story from yesterday? If you guys missed this, not only did this sort of take over the show in the last hour,
We apologize for that.
but it took over Watch the Language.
I know.
Okay?
Yeah.
This is not high school. This is not middle school.
I was thinking middle school.
Okay. Why reach when you can stoop?
Yeah.
Erin McCarty's would be on her tombstone. So here's the point. And the website is keelnews.com. You can go and still take a look at the poll, and you can vote and read. But I want you to pull up first. Let's start with that article that you had yesterday.
A city council in Houston has decided to keep a robot brothel from opening in the city. Members of the council changed the sexually oriented business ordinance. The change would ban people from having sex with an anthropomorphic device,
Applying human traits to something that's not human.
basically a device made to resemble a human. The change passed with a unanimous vote. This will keep the proposed sex robot brothel from opening. And we want to know, if having sex with a robot, would you consider it cheating? If your wife, Maddie Parker...
No.
I want to ask him the question.
But you make it gender specific. First of all, go to keelnews.com, pull up the poll results.
It's 44% say it's not cheating, 40% say yes, it is cheating.
In your mind, you say yes.
Yeah, I think it is cheating.
Interestingly enough, because this literally consumed the halls of Town Square Media yesterday.
Everybody in the
we
building.
heard people yelling at each other in offices over this topic.
They were talking about robots.
Before 9 o'clock, as this was the topic of conversation, a couple of guys came in, not to mention names, and Erin asked them both, let's call them either formerly or currently married men.
Mm-hmm.
And she asked them both that, would they consider it cheating if their wives went to a robot brothel?
Mm-hmm.
And they both said no.
No.
And they both said no.
But every woman I asked, would it be okay, is it considered cheating if your husband wanted to go to this robot brothel?
See, Erin consistently made the point that it's prostitution. It's like prostitution.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason they call it a brothel. And
You're paying
I said no.
for a sex act.
I said no. If it were prostitution, it would already be illegal under the current statutes
See,
that exist in Houston, Texas.
I think the crime of prostitution does damage to whoever's selling the sex and whoever's buying it. I think there's damage on both ends.
So you come down to in a relationship, and I may be going to, I don't think I'm expanding this too much, that pornography in a relationship damages a relationship.
To a certain extent, if you become addicted and that's how you have to see that to be pleasured.
Watch the Chris Rock bit.
Yes.
The Chris Rock segment from his last HBO special where he talks about, and he takes the blame. We'll pull that up later.
Pornography's part of the problem, part of the reason people don't have true, real relationships anymore.
So, Parky, thoughts, or would you rather hold off until you sort of you want it to percolate for a while?
No, to me, it's not cheating. But if I found my partner involved with a sex robot, I'd probably leave them because it's creepy.
That's what a lot of people said, too. They were like, that's weird.
From the Shreveport...
But if she asked and said, can I go once a week, Matt, you mind?
Like I said, that would be creepy, and then that would be a deal breaker. But it has nothing to do with them. I don't think it's prostitution or cheating.
From the Shreveport Security Systems text line,
blew that up.
318-392-1884. Bear with me, I'm editing on the fly, because there's a lot. Once again, an emotional argument versus a logical one. Most reasons used to outlaw prostitution simply do not apply to robots. Let me ask you this question. If you bash your robot's head with a hammer, is it murder? If you tie a robot to a tree, is it unlawful restraint? This is awesome.
Oh, my.
A robot is a mechanical device like a car or a refrigerator. Nothing more, nothing less. One last thing. I feel that sex robots are kind of creepy, but that doesn't mean that somehow my feelings should be made into law and imposed upon others. From the Shreveport Security Systems text line, talk with a counselor or psychologist about the sex robot issue. Shreveport Security Systems text line, why should what two consenting adults, no, not two, one. Why should what two consenting adults do behind closed doors matter to you or even the law just because they exchange money? If you pay a massage therapist to rub your shoulders and release tension, does that count? Freedom should be the end thought on any of this. But then, yes, morally, it's cheating. But so would having an emotional dinner with another when your husband or wife is unaware. Moral and legal are way different. I do not agree with prostitution, but that should not legally stop someone else if they are consenting adults. Is porn prostitution? Because there's we got a typo here, sorry. Because then, I know what they're doing. They're trying to get around your anatomical description, and we'll let the rest of that go.
Gotcha.
Shreveport Security Systems text line. No, it's not perversion. These real females aren't loyal anymore anyway.
Whoa.
See, Erin had made the point yesterday. She said, no, this is wrong. No, this shouldn't be allowed to be open. No, they need to shut that down now.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, well, what about if you just want to spend a couple or $3,000 and buy one? And Erin said, that's okay. And I said, so basically, it's like leasing a car. It's okay if you own a car. You just don't want anybody to lease.
Just stepping out and going creeping with robots is weird.
If a robot brothel is prostitution, Does that make an adult toy store a sex trafficking
Oh,
center?
no. That store's perfectly legal.
When money
Oh, boy.
When money exchanges hands, personal massage device.
Oh, boy.
From the Shreveport Security Systems text line.
Oh, boy.
When money changes hands, it is prostitution. Doesn't matter if it's a robot, even though the robot is not getting the money. B.O.B. Battery-operated boyfriend. Is it considered cheating if your wife uses one?
Oh, man.
What's the difference? Erin is sexist. 649, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. You can still take the poll, by the way, at KEELnews.com. We will update throughout the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Traffic update. Ruben's here.
Everything's still looking nice and clear for your early morning drive to work or school, but look out later on this morning for some traffic delays on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Here's your KEEL AccuWeather.com forecast. Got a chance of rain for the weekend, like 40 or 50%, but mostly sunny today and hot, low 90s. Right now, 71 at KEEL. It's 650 and your money now. Eight before 7 o'clock, 1017 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Timmy.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Captain Shreve kick-started the football week with a resounding 23-2 win over Parkway in District 1 5A action Thursday night. The Gators' DJ Fleming racked up over 180 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns for Shreve to help them improve to 5-1 overall, 1-1 in district play. The typical smorgasbord of games awaits fans tonight. District games in 5A and 4A dot the schedule. Couple of interesting non-district games highlight the ledger, with Calvary hosting Loyola and North Webster entertaining Logansport. In the NFL, Tom Brady threw the 500th touchdown pass of his career as part of his 3-touchdown, 341-yard night. He also snuck in a rushing touchdown in the 38-24 win over the Colts. The Patriots are now 3-2, Colts 1-4. Houston rallied past Tulsa in college football 41-26. Former Northwood star Marquez Stevenson had 7 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown for the Cougars. In National League divisional play, Mike Mustaka singled in Christian Yelich with 2 outs in the 10th inning to give Milwaukee a 3-2 win over Colorado in Game 1 of their series. At Chavez Ravine, the Dodgers' Hyun Jin Ryu threw 7 shutout innings, and L.A. clubbed 3 homers in a 6-0 win over Atlanta to get their best-of-5 set underway. The Astros host Cleveland this afternoon in Game 1 of their series. The Red Sox and Yankees play Game 1 tonight as well. And former Calvary star and LSU All-American Sam Burns shot an even par round of 72 in his debut as a full-fledged member of the PGA Tour in the Safeway Open. Sepp Straka leads after one round with a score of 9 under. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. She just got up and left, like that mailman.
Maybe she is looking for a guest that doesn't exist. Who knows? Someone's coming, I swear.
She's in the lobby waiting for somebody. I was watching a little bit of football when I got home last night. Not much, but I did see the Patriots beat the Colts last night, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tom Brady, who is 41,
about to turn 42, I believe,
threw his 500th career pass, touchdown pass.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking about this, and we can talk about this a little, or just quickly let me know what you think, because this is a short segment. I'm watching last night that almost 42-year-old Tom Brady threw his 500th career touchdown pass. And given the current rules that you can't roll into a quarterback, you can't fall on a quarterback, you can't get pushed, and is there any reason, giving the rather, in the minds of some, extreme protections of the quarterback, is there any reason that Tom Brady, I'm not going to say he could play till he's 50, but is there any reason, given in the minds of some that quarterbacks are too protected? Is there any reason he can't play literally until his arm falls off? The only thing he has to worry about is not being able to make the throws.
Well, eventually your arm will go, and that's going to happen sooner rather than later.
But it used to be a question of can you take the physical pounding? Can you take the stress of the game? Can you take the preparation? What is there about today's game? I mean, quarterbacks don't get hit anymore.
Well, they don't get hit in the backfield. As soon as they leave the pocket, they're fair game just like everyone else.
So you don't see Tom Brady playing more than...
I think at most he's got 2 more years left in him.
6:56, here's Rush on Keel.
As the estimable Brett Kavanaugh was testifying last week, 3 Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee were doxxed. That means details of their private lives hit the internet. The home addresses and personal cell numbers of Senators Orrin Hatch, Mike Lee, and Lindsey Graham were posted on Wikipedia. The uploads came from a House of Representatives Twitter account. Well, on Wednesday, the U.S. Capitol Police charged Jackson Costco, a 27-year-old Democrat political operative, with publicizing restricted personal information, second-degree burglary, unauthorized use of a government computer, identity theft, unlawful entry, and witness tampering. Fox News reports that Costco was an unpaid intern for Representative Sheila Jackson. Is that the rover on the moon there while she was looking at Mars? Lee. He previously worked with Democrat Senators Maggie Hassan and Dianne Feinstein. We don't know if he acted alone or if he had inside help. We do know that left-wing protesters immediately used the information to begin harassing these 3 Republican senators. And we also know that many liberals will stop at nothing to intimidate or destroy Republicans they don't like. That includes lying. When they think they can get away with it, they will do it, and it is time to turn the tables by simply refusing to take this anymore. Say, folks, if you own land, you're going to want to listen to this. My good friends at Mahindra may have the best Mahindra tractor deal I've ever seen. For a limited time, get a Mahindra E-Max 20S HST for as low as $95 a month. This is a versatile 20-horsepower Mahindra E-Max for less than $100 a month. Now, this offer even includes Mahindra's 7-year limited powertrain warranty and access to Mahindra's nationwide dealer parts and service network. So get the E-Max for the minimum. This big-time offer will not last. Save big on the world's #1 selling tractor, Mahindra.
6.49% APR financing now through December 31st, 2018. See your dealer or MahindraUSA.com for more information. Take advantage of rock bottom prices and test drive a Mahindra today at Kelly Tractor and Equipment in Longview or visit kellytractor.net. That's kellytractor.net.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on North Market near North Hearn Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast: partly sunny, hot and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 7:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app, a free download. And Erin has local news in a second or two.
A local coach and teacher dies in a car crash. We'll talk more about that. Changes to the admissions policy at LSU. We'll have that coming up, too. And opioid crisis in Louisiana. What's being done?
Yeah, the first segment, we've got to talk about this LSU thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is so ACT or SATs just not going to matter, or at least matter as much anymore?
Right.
So what about all those people that make all that money giving ACT and SAT instruction? Are they going to be out of business?
Poor darlings.
Well, we got to talk about this. You've got to give me details.
Mm-hmm.
And Kavanaugh and, who are we having in? Gail Flowers.
Yes.
Talking about how do we get big projects to come to Northwest Louisiana.
You bet.
Plus Fletcher in sports and traffic and weather. It's all here this hour coming up on KEEL.
Hour of information. KEEL News now.
LSU approves major changes to its admission standards. Matt Parker has more on that.
LSU's Board of Supervisors have approved a change to its admission standards. The new rule will no longer rely heavily on ACT and SAT test scores and will look more at essays, recommendation letters, and extracurricular activities. While many in the state education community are critical of the change to the 30-year-old policy, members of the board say it makes LSU more competitive while trying to get the best and brightest students from across the country. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
Longtime North Caddo High teacher and coach Les Mason killed in a car crash Thursday morning. Mason was on his way to a special ed training session when his car collided with a Caddo Parish dump truck that failed to yield at a stop sign. Counselors will be on campus today to help any teachers or students deal with the loss. In a statement, school officials say Mason was more than just a coach or teacher. He was a father figure who was an integral part of the school and community. A Greenwood police officer recovering after being hit by a pickup truck on Highway 169. He was directing traffic around a disabled tractor-trailer rig and a tow truck when he was struck by the pickup. Officer Chris Farris was taken to the hospital for treatment and released. He's a 6-year veteran of the force. The two Republican senators from Louisiana expressed their satisfaction with the findings of the FBI investigation into accusations of sexual misconduct against Brett Kavanaugh. Senator Bill Cassidy says although he's not read the FBI report, he doesn't believe it'll be all that different from all the other statements given under oath.
4 different people identified by Dr. Ford as being there either said it didn't happen or they have no remembrance. 4 different people. So I go with the 4.
Today, the Senate plans to vote to end the debate on the Kavanaugh nomination with a full floor final vote tomorrow. Caddo Sheriff's Office looking for some new recruits. The recruiting event will be held at Sheriff Safety Town tomorrow from 9 until 2. The event will give those interested in a career in law enforcement a chance to meet staff members and learn about open positions. Teenagers and young adults say cyberbullying is a serious problem for people their age, but most don't think they'll be the ones targeted. A new poll finds that about half of both young people and their parents view social media as having a mostly negative effect on the younger generation. An Arizona company recalling more than 6.5 million pounds of beef that could be contaminated with salmonella. Now, this is a recall from JBS Tolleson, a meatpacking plant west of Phoenix. The beef was shipped to retailers nationwide. So far, 57 people have gotten sick. Number 5, LSU takes on 22nd ranked Florida. Florida's been rebounding nicely since dropping their first game in a shocker to Kentucky. They rebounded on the back of a tough defense that just held Mississippi State to 6 points. Voice of the Tigers, Chris Blair, says the Gators can attack LSU's offense at multiple levels.
They've got two defensive ends that are going to cause you trouble all day long. Linebacker play may be the weakest part of this defense, but the back end so far in the corners and safeties for Florida have been spot on.
The game kicks off at 2:30 tomorrow afternoon in Gainesville. A postal worker fed up with his job dropped a pile of mail off on the side of a New Jersey roadway, then abruptly quit his job. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Nine past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Time for traffic. Yo, Ruben.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on North Market near North Hearn Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Old Minden Road near Airline Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. Today will be hot and humid, partly sunny with a high of 91, patchy clouds and warm, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. It's 11 past 7 o'clock. The KEEL app, a free download presented by Office Furniture Source. What are your weekend plans? Because I have something for you to do.
Ooh.
Because
I think I'm going shooting. But I'm not sure.
Are we allowed to talk about that yet?
Not yet. Rats. Getting close.
Erin's got a gun.
It's going to be close.
Details maybe next week. If you do nothing else, because we've been talking a little bit about creepy movies. A lot of movie talk lately. But specifically earlier this week, I think you were gone talking about creepy and or scary movies as Halloween approaches. Erin has never seen the original, and Ruben brought this up, the original Nosferatu, the vampire movie from, 1930-something?
1922.
Ruben's a freak.
You need to see, if you want to watch a creepy movie.
I'm not into them.
You need to watch Nosferatu. I don't know if that's the whole title. Maybe
it is.
Night of the Vampire attached. It's from 1922. It's a silent movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's the creepiest movie of all time.
Well, I am going to the movies this weekend. That won't be the. I'm going to see Star is Born. Lady Gaga, Bradley Cooper.
That movie looks amazing. I can't wait to see that myself.
I'm excited to see it.
Let me ask you about that because we have other things to discuss, but we'll touch on this for a second. I've seen the trailers for the new Star is Born.
You know she's got chops.
And it seems to me that Bradley Cooper, at least in every trailer I've seen, is just doing a not-so-impressive Chris Christopherson impression.
That's what it looks like. It looks like she steals the movie. It looks like it. I may be wrong.
He's talking like this, like Christopherson. What?
Well, he's not a trained singer, so he's probably just has a voice that he does in the movie that can match the singing parts he did himself.
And yet, Matt said when he was on vacation, he watched the Christopherson and Barbara Streisand Star is Born. And you said the only problem with that was?
Barbara Streisand.
Oh, come on.
She ruined that movie.
Oh, come on.
He and I agree on that because even when I watch The Way We Were, Barbara Streisand as an actress, it's like she doesn't really overact, but she overacts just enough where you think she's trying to steal every scene she's in.
That may be accurate.
She takes away attention from the scene and makes it all about her.
But not to the point that it's really overbearing or overly noticeable. She just does it like the stories about Jimmy Fallon on Saturday Night Live, where he would giggle and break up on purpose to draw attention to himself, to the point that Horatio Sands, the heavyset Hispanic guy who was on, threatened to kick his ass. He said, look, I don't get that many bits.
I did notice
if you do that
in,
again, I'm taking you out.
In Prince of Tides, I noticed that a few times in that movie. That was a gut-wrenching movie, and I thought they're shooting an odd angle of her here, and my real brain went, that's because of her ego. She made him do it like that.
2 words, kid: Vaseline lens.
Yeah.
So explain to me the LSU admission policy changes, because look, I noticed this, and it's on, and you see it every year, and because I am an alumnus of Loyola College Prep, it was Jesuit when I was there, but every year there seems like 1 or 2 or 3 kids from Loyola who get, what is it, a perfect 36 on the, is it ACT?
Yeah.
And that's a huge deal.
Oh, it's a big deal.
So my question is, why? Yes. I mean, I remember taking it. It's hard. You've got to be smart.
Right.
So why on earth would the leading university in our state university all of a sudden, and tell me I'm wrong if I am, it's just not going to matter anymore?
They're saying they're not just looking for good scores anymore. Let me give you some figures. For the 2018 admissions class, 23,000 kids applied.
All right.
Okay? They took 5,800. Now, some of the top educators are saying, did we really get the right kids? Of those 28,000...
You mean the ones with the highest grades and the highest test scores?
No, just say highest test scores. Let's just say, because you may have a kid with great grades, great extracurriculars and all that, but he just shot the ACT.
Okay.
Just did not do well on it.
First of all, if you have straight A's and you GAC your standardized test, you're going to take it more than once. You're going to take it. So the chance of a kid who is an A student blowing up on the ACT or the SAT over and over and over again is highly unlikely.
It happens. There's some kids that just don't do well on those standardized tests.
So what's the new rule of thumb? What's the new rules going to be?
It's called a holistic approach. Your grades will matter. Your extracurricular stuff will matter. Other things are going to be higher importance. And they're lowering the ACT and SAT requirements.
Is that a good idea?
I don't know. You're going to end up with, you had 23,000 applicants for the fall. Are you going to double that?
You know why I like that? It means smarter kids going to BIPSI. It means smarter kids going to Tech. It means smarter kids going to Northwestern. It means smarter kids. I'm being totally serious.
Right.
Imagine having a 32 on the ACT or SAT, I forget what you want, and getting turned away. Sorry, your grades aren't good enough.
Here's a quote from one of the top guys.
Because you weren't a cheerleader, because you weren't in Latin club.
He says, we're not just looking for good scores. We're looking to see a combination of factors that when put together say, quote, this student is ready to engage and succeed.
What?
Is that hogwash?
Matt? Pardon me. Now, if you're a regular listener to the show, you know that Matt tends to explode when we talk about the ever-changing, I'm sure educators would call it evolving, standards of university education. When we were talking about this a little bit earlier, Matt said, I don't know who to be mad at first.
Yeah.
Have you narrowed that down? You obviously see a problem with this.
I haven't, because there's two sides to this to me. All right? If the whole goal of the entire education system from like pre-K through senior year of high school is to learn how to take tests, then tests should be the only thing that matters.
And there are many critics and many who actually think it. Look, you have said 1,000 times, we have had educators tell us that one of the problems with the education system in Louisiana, hell, in America, is that all we're doing now is teaching kids to take tests.
Yeah. That's what they're doing from, what is it, 4th grade when they start them?
Yeah. So, I mean, if taking tests and succeeding on standardized tests is the only thing that matters, then SAT and ACT scores should be the only thing that matters. Now, if you're trying to create a group of kids that know how to function in society and have careers and jobs and blah, blah, blah.
And they're well-rounded kids.
And well-rounded, then yes, this is a great change, but then we need to change the whole system from top to bottom because these kids are in a school system where they're not learning any of this. Then you go into a college class, and guess what all the tests are? Standardized tests. You're not doing anybody any good.
You know who's not adapting a more holistic approach?
Who?
Is Ivy League schools.
No, they're not.
Adapting a more holistic approach is MIT. You know who's not adapting a more holistic approach is all the big schools that take the smart. My concern is, and we can certainly find somebody out who can explain this to us, and I'm sure put a happier face on it,
sure,
or a nicer coat of paint. But are you turning away smarter kids, and should turning away smart kids from your university be your goal? 19 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884. Like to know what you think about that. What are we missing? Why is this a good idea? Sorry, kid, you got a 32 on the standardized, but you're just not well-rounded enough for our university. Who's on the way, by the way?
Gail Flowers is coming in. Michael Corbin, city councilman. We're going to talk about the economy in Shreveport.
Traffic update right now. Here's Ruben on KEEL.
Looking right now at some slow-moving traffic on Greenwood Road near Jewella Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Westgate Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, hot, and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twenty-two past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Sports update. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Captain Shreve kick-started the football week with a resounding 23-2 win over Parkway in District 1 5A action Thursday night. The Gators' DJ Fleming racked up over 180 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns for Shreve to help them improve to 5-1 overall, 1-1 in district play. The typical smorgasbord of games awaits fans tonight. District games in 5A and 4A dot the schedule. A couple of interesting non-district games highlight the ledger, with Calvary hosting Loyola and North Webster entertaining Logansport. In the NFL, Tom Brady threw the 500th touchdown pass of his career as part of his 3-touchdown, 341-yard night. He also snuck in a rushing touchdown in the 38-24 win over the Colts. The Patriots are now 3-2, Colts 1-4. Houston rallied past Tulsa in college football 41-26. Former Northwood star Marquez Stevenson had 7 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown for the Cougars. In National League divisional play, Mike Mustaka singled in Christian Yelich with 2 outs in the 10th inning to give Milwaukee a 3-2 win over Colorado in Game 1 of their series. At Chavez Ravine, the Dodgers' Hyun Jin Ryu threw 7 shutout innings, and L.A. clubbed 3 homers in a 6-0 win over Atlanta to get their best-of-5 set underway. The Astros host Cleveland this afternoon in Game 1 of their series. The Red Sox and Yankees play Game 1 tonight as well. And former Calvary star and LSU All-American Sam Burns shot an even par round of 72 in his debut as a full-fledged member of the PGA Tour in the Safeway Open. Sepp Straka leads after 1 round with a score of 9 under. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.107 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty, 25 past 7 o'clock. Shreveport Security Systems text line is 318-392-1884.
Got to thank Dodie Horton and her crew and everybody for inviting us out last night. That was such a great event.
It was kind of awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What was, because I have, in retrospect, pinpointed the apogee, the high point, the best part of my evening. What, in fact, was yours?
I liked Treasurer Schroeder talking about Dodie's courage and her pecans. I really like that a lot.
I don't understand. Oh, I remember.
Yeah,
Why don't
I just
you?
thought that was a great line.
This may be one of the major.
When you refer to men,
hold on. When this may be one of the major mistakes I will make in my broadcasting career.
No, I don't want you to do that.
But asking you to explain to everyone what what Treasurer Schroeder, see, I'm rendered articulate just by the thought of the next 30 seconds.
It was a great line.
Yes, it was.
Because you guys refer to each other.
Asking you to explain to our radio audience something anatomically related.
It's walking the thin line, I know.
Historically speaking, is a bad idea.
Yeah, get your hand close to that Jack Spring electric shockbuster button over there, Maddie.
So, what did the treasurer mean when he said that Miss Doty had pecans?
She had courage, she was strong-willed, and he said, and excuse my language, folks, but if I was talking about a man, I would say something different, but let's just say Dodie Horton has a nice set of pecans or something like that.
And then everybody went 2, 3, 4. And then they got the joke.
I'm going to use that forever.
There was delayed laughter.
Yes. Because you know how you guys go, ooh, he's
got a set.
He's got a set. He's a strong man. He's got a set.
Yeah.
Well, now it's pecans.
How do we say it?
He's got a set.
The high point of the evening for me.
Yeah.
is that among the featured guests were State Treasurer John Schroeder, Congressman Mike Johnson, from Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, Stephen Weigesbach, who will join us, by the way, in the 8 o'clock hour, Attorney General Jeff Landry.
Yes.
Representative Seabaugh was there. Representative Cruz was there. But at one point, I was surrounded, and that's the perfect verb to describe. I was surrounded by Attorney General Landry, Congressman Johnson, and Treasurer Schroeder.
So cool.
And all three were making fun of me for wearing long pants. They've never, and I think it was Mr. Jeff that started it off. He said, now that we're all here, I hope you don't mind me bringing up, I don't think I've ever seen you in long pants before.
Yeah, you wear shorts a
lot. And Mike said, I think he's right, even in December. And Schroeder was, I don't know him that well, but come to think of it, I've never seen him in long pants either.
Oh, boy.
Go ahead, boys. Pile on around election time.
Yeah.
28 past 7 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Let's see. Erin has local news, traffic, and weather updates just ahead. You want to go now? Let's go now. Traffic update. Here's Ruben on Keel.
Traffic on Greenwood Road near Jewella Avenue, and we have some traffic delays on Barksdale Boulevard near Westgate Drive in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. Today will be hot and humid, partly sunny with a high of 91, patchy clouds and warm, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
Our selection.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
The two Republican senators from Louisiana expressed their satisfaction with the findings of the FBI investigation into accusations of sexual misconduct against Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Senator John Kennedy says no one directed the FBI in the investigation and that the agency made its own decisions in the report. He also says such acts of misconduct are a problem that need to be dealt with, and he hopes the Republican Party is willing to take the lead.
There's a problem in America with sexual harassment. It is prevalent, but I'm convinced that Judge Kavanaugh is innocent.
Today, the Senate plans to vote to end the debate on the Kavanaugh nomination with a full floor vote tomorrow. Longtime North Caddo High teacher and coach Les Mason killed in a car crash Thursday morning. Mason was on his way to a special ed training session when his car collided with a dump truck that failed to yield at a stop sign. Counselors will be on campus at the school today to help any teachers or students deal with a loss. In a statement, school officials say Mason was more than just a coach or teacher. He was a father figure who was an integral part of the school and community. A patrolman hit while directing traffic. Matt Parker with that.
A Greenwood police officer is recovering after being hit by a pickup truck on Highway 169 Thursday night. Officer Chris Ferris was directing traffic around the disabled tractor trailer and tow truck when he was struck by the pickup. Ferris was taken to the hospital for treatment and was released overnight. He's a 6-year veteran of the force. From 101.7 FM and 710 Keel, I'm Matt Parker.
LSU's Board of Supervisors approve a change to the admission standards. The new rules will no longer rely heavily on ACT and SAT scores and will look more at essays, recommendation letters, and extracurricular activities. The Caddo Sheriff's Office will be looking for some new recruits this weekend. The recruiting event will be held at Sheriff Safety Town tomorrow from 9 to 2. The event will give those interested in a career in law enforcement a chance to meet staff members and learn about open positions on the force. Vice President Mike Pence discussing the administration's policies toward China, accusing that government of attempting to advance their political interests within the U.S.
Our intelligence community says that China is targeting U.S. state and local governments and officials to exploit any divisions between federal and local levels on policy. It's using wedge issues like trade tariffs to advance Beijing's political influence.
Pence making his remarks at the Hudson Institute. An Arizona beef company recalling millions of pounds of ground beef that might be contaminated by salmonella.
The CDC says JBS Tolleson is recalling 6.5 million pounds of ground beef. It was produced and packaged from late July through the first week of September. So far, 57 people have been sickened in 16 states. 14 people have been hospitalized, though thankfully no one has died. The meat went out to retail locations, including restaurants.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. And a 2-year-old in Utah sent an envelope filled with more than $1,000 in cash into a shredder. Mom says the little boy helps her shred the junk mail, and he apparently found the envelope and just thought he was helping her out. Well, believe it or not, there is a government office that can help. They will have to mail the shredded bills back in Ziploc bags, and in 1 to 2 years, they can get their money back. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert and Erin, 735. Arkansas fire in hole remains. Have you seen this story?
No.
Arkansas fire in hole still blazing. Satan ruled out.
Oh, it was Satan for a while?
Meteorites, methane, and even the devil. You haven't seen this story?
No, I haven't.
Meteorites, methane, and even the devil have been ruled out as the cause of a flaming hole in the ground just outside of Midway, Arkansas. Officials are still, I don't know where Baxter County is. That's where Midway is. I am relatively unfamiliar to, I don't have a lot of knowledge of our friends to the north. Arkansas, not Canada. Officials are still investigating the mysterious Midway hole that flared into a spectacular 12-foot flame on the morning of September 17th and continues to burn at a height of about 8 feet. Officials say the hole has been there for at least 10 years, so it wasn't caused by a recent impact of a meteorite which crashed in that area. Still burning. Donald Tucker, chief of Midway Fire Protection District, said the Arkansas Department of Environmental Quality has tested 3 above-ground gasoline tanks and 2 propane tanks and have determined that none of them are leaking. Pendergrass said soil samples have been taken from the hole, and though yet to be analyzed by a laboratory, geohazard experts from the Arkansas Geological Survey say soil may provide a clue.
Oh, my goodness.
So it's still on fire, still burning.
Oh, boy.
As far as Satan goes, we've ruled that out.
Well, thank goodness.
Says one local minister.
Praise God.
He didn't come up and stick his pitchfork in the ground and blow that hole out.
Oh, boy.
Experts suspect methane, but so far investigators have found no source, such as decaying organic matter.
Oh, my goodness.
Well, you tell me, if in our backyard, if a hole opened up and there was an 8-foot flame coming out.
Oh, wow.
And nobody knew why, what do you think the first or second or even third explanation might be?
I'm not sure.
Matt and his cigarettes. 738, 1017 FM, 710 Keel, just a couple of seconds away. Fill us in.
Dr. Gail Flowers she's Vice Chancellor for Economic and Workforce Development at BIPSI. How to grow the economy and get a great
Joined
workforce
with Shreveport
here.
City Council guy Michael Corbin. Gotta vote for somebody soon.
Yeah, you do.
1017 FM, 710 Keel traffic update. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and Southfield Road dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're starting to see some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. Today will be hot and humid, partly sunny with a high of 91, patchy clouds and warm, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer.
This is one of my favorite bumper music things. This is Frank Frost, who was an old blues harmonica guy, and this was recorded here in probably either late 50s or early 60s.
Cool.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Oh, I forgot to tell our guests, whom you will introduce in just a moment. Celine Dion, those microphones. And by that I mean get about 3 fingers away so that everyone across the vast expanse of the Arklatex and beyond will hear you well.
Dr. Gail Flowers, Vice Chancellor for Economic and Workforce Development at BIPSI, and Shreveport City Councilman Michael Corbin. You guys go back a ways and are working on developing, growing the economy in Shreveport. Gail, first tell me a little bit about workforce development training, which I think is a big focus at BIPSI, correct?
It is a huge focus of BIPSI. It is part of our core mission, and it's something that we work on across the entire college.
When we hear folks like Stephen Wagasback say, we don't have an educated workforce, our people are not ready for the jobs that are out there, you guys are working to fight that, and you also work with the Fast Start program, which I think people don't understand. That's directed at a certain business, like a Bentler Steel. When they come to you and say, here's the kind of workers I need, you set up a program for them?
We work with Fast Start. We work with whoever we can in our community. Fast Start is a state program through Louisiana Economic Development, and it's usually part of an incentive package for a company that's moving to the state to help support their training needs and get that lift off the ground so that they're very successful from day one. And then we pick up and provide ongoing training for their workforce and preparing young people and people in our community to move into the positions that they have available.
But I understand education as an investment, but I'm sort of a how does this help me now kind of guy. I mean, if I own a company thinking of moving to Louisiana, and I say, okay, so BIPSI's doing a great job for people that'll be ready in 5 or 6 or 7 years. You see my point? I get the investment part, but how does that help us now?
Well, we're also working with individuals already in the workforce to upskill their skills. We work with companies define what training their needs are, and then provide that training immediately.
So company A or B or C comes directly to you and says, you know, we could help. We've got these 50 or 100 people working for us. Can you help us with?
Yes, we'd like them to move
specific
up
skills
within our organization. Here are the skill sets that they need to do so, or to even be more effective in their current position. And through my division, we help provide that support. We connect them with the resources of the college and the community.
Michael Corbin, let me ask you this, because we've heard in the mayoral race a lot of one candidate particularly always saying, Superman's not coming. That we need to help local existing businesses, and there are other kinds of businesses we need to try to attract. Would you agree, and what areas should we be looking at?
Well, I think that's an accurate statement. Is a lot of people continue to focus on the old GM building, and you've got a building that could employ 2,500 people. That's not the type of business that our region is set to attract right now. You know, we need to be focusing on 200, 300, 400, 500 employee companies. And that's more realistic for our current workforce and for the things that we have to offer in this area.
What does the research show, Gail, what kinds of companies we should be going after?
Well, we need to go after anybody that needs our workforce, and then we need to upskill our workforce to meet their needs. It's kind of a two-pronged approach. Certainly healthcare in our community has been strong. Small manufacturing has really grown and flourished here. We have the transportation availability. We have an infrastructure of support, but also information technology and cyber. You know, we've seen real growth when you talk about CSRA, that is now General Dynamics Information Technology. The building that they opened next to BIPSI originally had about 200 employees. Now they've got 950 with another 100 at their call center. So that's a huge growth in our community for opportunities, and they are working to employ people at an entry level but then move them up through opportunities for educational attainment with Bossier Parish Community College and Louisiana Tech, right here in our backyard.
Everybody says tech is the future, tech is the now, tech is the future, tech is what future jobs will be. And yet Shreveport-Bossier is in so many ways a blue-collar, service economy-oriented place. How do we sort of bridge that gap?
Well, in technology, it's often the credentials that matter more than the degrees. And through our division and other opportunities on campus, we're offering industry credentials that matter and can be acquired in a short term. We're also working to embed education and work simultaneously, whether you want to call it apprenticeships, kind of that model, but that earn and work model that pull people forward with their education.
How does BIPSI, specifically the work that you do, how could you and your work be used in marketing the Shreveport-Bossier area to these companies?
Well, we already are. When North Louisiana Economic Partnership and others bring businesses to our area trying to select a site, they often tour our campus to see what we have available to train their workforce. We talk to them, we meet with them, we're a part of that conversation. So that is building our brand, creating our image, and building on that reputation that we've established in this region.
Gail, and this may be off topic for you, but I know you deal with the millennials. One of the candidates has been really touting broadband for our community, that will make a big impact. It'll bring in companies. It'll bring in jobs.
I hear that from current employers as well, that is a need that we have in our community, and that's part of that infrastructure support that we constantly have to be working on.
Let me ask you this. If somebody's listening and they have a son or daughter, or maybe themselves, they're underemployed or unemployed, what are the steps they should take in their life? I mean, can they come to BIPSI just as an individual and go, I need some retraining, I need some continuing ed, I need to do something to help find a job?
Yes, we're very student focused, and we know that non-traditional students are becoming the traditional students of the future, and so we're very receptive to working with them. We have people that specialize, if they're coming out of the military, in walking them through how they can use that benefit package. We have others that focus on the individual where they are and identify the pathway that would be most helpful to them immediately.
Our local leaders, city leaders on both sides of the river, maybe odd question. Are they aware of this? Are they coming to you? Are they beating down your door? Are they talking to you once a week?
The leaders are familiar. I believe there still remains a lot of opportunity for coordinated efforts so that we can be more effective and more impactful. You're constantly educating the people in the community.
The other side of that coin is it's one thing that you would market everything that BIPC does educationally, potentially to industry coming to this area. But on the other hand, it seems to me at some point you got to kind of market yourself, and maybe you are, to educate local leaders, to market yourselves to people who are within a stone's throw.
And we certainly do that in a variety of ways. One of the things, and Michael can attest to this, we offer a conference in August called Upstate Rising. It focuses on these very kinds of opportunities. How do we build public-private partnerships, invest in our region so that this is a place that people want to live and be?
Michael, do you see the unemployment rate in Shreveport-Bossier continuing to climb? Have we had any improvements?
The numbers are really all over the place because you never really know who they're counting and how those numbers work. I think our focus needs to be on how do we continue to develop this existing workforce. For years, we had a workforce that put a piece of raw material in a machine, something finished came out the other end, and that was it. And that still happens. But now that worker has to be able to use a touch screen. They have to understand how the technology fits into every job. And that's going to be engaging people that have been in the workforce and have dropped out, or people who are coming up in the workforce, because it's just changing daily.
Dr. Gail Flowers, I can't thank you guys enough for coming in. We're about up against the clock. Michael Corbin, Shreveport City Council member, thanks so much for coming in.
Thank y'all. Good to be here.
Thank you.
749, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL traffic update right now. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Uri Drive and Southfield Road's dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we're starting to see some backed-up traffic on Benton Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Right now, 72, it's 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's your money now. $7:52 KEEL Sports Time. Here's Fletch.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Captain Shreve kick-started the football week with a resounding 23-2 win over Parkway in District 1 5A action Thursday night. The Gators' DJ Fleming racked up over 180 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns for Shreve to help them improve to 5-1 overall, 1-1 in district play. The typical smorgasbord of games awaits fans tonight. District games in 5A and 4A dot the schedule. Couple of interesting non-district games highlight the ledger, with Calvary hosting Loyola and North Webster entertaining Logansport. In the NFL, Tom Brady threw the 500th touchdown pass of his career as part of his 3-touchdown, 341-yard night. He also snuck in a rushing touchdown in the 38-24 win over the Colts. The Patriots are now 3-2, Colts 1-4. Houston rallied past Tulsa in college football 41-26. Former Northwood star Marquez Stevenson had 7 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown for the Cougars. In National League divisional play, Mike Mustaka singled in Christian Yelich with 2 outs in the 10th inning to give Milwaukee a 3-2 win over Colorado in Game 1 of their series. At Chavez Ravine, the Dodgers' Hyun Jin Ryu threw 7 shutout innings, and L.A. clubbed 3 homers in a 6-0 win over Atlanta to get their best-of-5 set underway. The Astros host Cleveland this afternoon in Game 1 of their series. The Red Sox and Yankees play Game 1 tonight as well. And former Calvary star and LSU All-American Sam Burns shot an even par round of 72 in his debut as a full-fledged member of the PGA Tour in the Safeway Open. Sepp Straka leads after 1 round with a score of 9 under. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
.55, it's 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Louisiana Association of Business and Industry President, CEO Stephen Wagas back here just after 8 o'clock.
Got my LSU predictions just in case you're wondering. LSU's going to win by a field goal tomorrow.
Look that up for me real fast. LSU, Florida, line, spread.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I thought it was about
2.5.
Really? Is it down to less than 6? See, because Erin said earlier in the hour, Erin said that playing in Florida, the home field advantage in Gainesville, gives the Gators, it's worth 6 to 7 points.
I think it is. The Swamp's tough,
Okay,
man.
well, you also said...
Yes, 2.5.
You also said that LSU's tradition of playing down to its competition, and admittedly, Florida struggling this year, could be worth 2 to 3 points. So what you're telling me is, I add all that up, you're telling me that for LSU, LSU's got to win by 10.
You know, if they
because
win by,
they've got to win by 10, they've got to play by, they have to win by 10 to really win by 2.
Yeah, you start out down a touchdown just because of where you are.
My point.
Oh, boy.
Give me the score again.
I think it's going to be 21 to 18.
Tomorrow afternoon, like a 2 o'clock start?
2:30 kickoff, yeah.
101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Here's Hannity.
Your morning espresso starts right here. It's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
FBI report is now in. Senators have seen it. Democrats actually, this is a cover-up. A cover-up of what? With all the time, 17 days. And we know that they've known about this since July. Who is covering up what? What did the FBI cover up? Beyond asking the 4 people identified by Professor Ford that were at the party where the alleged attack occurred, what else is there to do when you don't even know the location? This anger that is and righteous indignation has energized conservatives, Republicans in ways that, you know, they could never have had happen on their own. You can thank the Democrats for this, and it's going to have an impact.
The Sean Hannity Show from coast to coast later today.
To prevent muscle cramps in your legs and feet, use TheraWorks Relief. Now, this non-greasy foam is proven to relieve muscle cramps fast and reduce muscle soreness. TheraWorks Relief only takes minutes to apply. It absorbs quickly, and it really works. Try TheraWorks Relief for your family, your friends, and the results will speak for themselves. Now, this is a life-changing product. You don't even need a prescription. Get TheraWorks Relief today in the pain aisle at Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens pharmacies, or just go to the website, TheraWorksRelief.com.
I used to post to job boards that sent me tons of resumes.
Just to find a few people who were right for my job.
That old process was not smart.
Then I went to ZipRecruiter.
Its technology scans resumes for me to find the right people.
And actively invites them to apply. So I get qualified candidates fast. Smart.
See why ZipRecruiter is rated #1 by employers in the U.S. Try it now for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter. The smartest way to hire. Based on Trustpilot rating of hiring sites with over 1,000 reviews.
The intersection at Line Avenue and Kings Highway is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Green Acres Boulevard in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline at 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. Today will be hot and humid, partly sunny with a high of 91, patchy clouds and warm, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zaire.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL, Shreveport.
Good morning. It's 8:03. Robert and Erin, 101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. The KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Down yonder, Miss Erin. Local news coming up next.
A local teacher and coach has died in a crash. We'll talk more about that. Changing the rules to go to LSU, that's coming up. And the opioid crisis in the nation, it's hitting home, too.
Stephen Wagaspack, he is the president and CEO of Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Love it when somebody's early. We're going to chat with him about a myriad of topics.
You bet.
And despite what Mike Johnson said last night, what a great closing line. Kavanaugh's in. That was basically what he said. I'm just not sold on that yet. I'm waiting for one more shoe to drop.
Mm-hmm.
Not a real shoe, but does that really matter?
You don't know.
Fletcher in sports, traffic, and weather. It's all coming up this hour, and it's here on KEEL.
The power of information. KEEL News now.
Coach dies in a car wreck. Counseling now available for students. We get more from Matt Parker.
Longtime North Caddo High teacher and coach Les Mason was killed in a car crash Thursday morning. Mason was on his way to a special education training session when his car collided with a dump truck that failed to yield at a stop sign. Counselors will be on campus today to help any teachers or students deal with the loss. In a statement, school officials say Mason was more than just a coach or teacher. He was a father figure who was an integral part of the school and community. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
A Greenwood police officer recovering after being hit by a pickup truck on Highway 169 last night. Officer Chris Farris was directing traffic around a disabled tractor trailer and tow truck when he was struck by the pickup. Farris was taken to the hospital for treatment and released. He's a 6-year veteran of the force. 2 Republican senators from Louisiana expressed their satisfaction with the findings of the 5-day FBI investigation into accusations of sexual misconduct against Supreme Court nominee Judge Brett Kavanaugh. Senator John Kennedy, who sits on the Judiciary Committee, says after reading through the report, he wishes the report could be made public.
There are things in there that I think would make it even clearer that, in my opinion anyway, that politics has been involved in this.
Today, the Senate plans to vote to end the debate on the Kavanaugh nomination with a full floor final vote set for tomorrow. LSU's Board of Supervisors approves a change to its admission standards. The new rules will no longer rely heavily on ACT and SAT scores and will look more at essays, recommendation letters, and extracurricular activities. While many in the state education community are critical of the change to the 30-year-old policy, members of the board say it makes LSU more competitive while trying to get the best and brightest students from around the country. The Department of Health recently released its voluntary non-opioid directive as a new tactic in combating opioid abuse. Dr. Janice Peterson with LDH says the form is meant to be used by patients as a communication tool with care providers.
They don't know how to express themselves with asking the doctor, can you give me something other than an opioid? this allows them to have something to give to the doctors to help explain their situation.
Peterson says although the prescription rate for the drugs is going down, the deaths in the state are still going up. The Caddo Sheriff's Office will be looking for some new recruits this weekend. The recruiting event will be held at Sheriff Safety Town tomorrow from 9 a.m. until 2. Toyota has issued a recall for 2.4 million hybrid vehicles around the world, including 800,000 in the U.S. Potential problems with stalling. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
Good morning. It's 8:09, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL traffic update for Friday morning. Here's Ruben.
Keeping an eye right now on some slow-moving traffic on Hearn Avenue near Lakeshore Drive, and we have some traffic delays on Swan Lake Road just north of I-220 in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness traffic hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, hot, and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Good morning. It's 11 past 8 o'clock. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL. KEEL app is a free download from Office Furniture Source. Measuring the length to his mouth. That could have sounded better. Stephen Wagespack from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry is here. Had a little, hung out with you a little bit last night at the Doty Horton Feet. Welcome back. Welcome back to KEEL.
Glad to be here, and it was a great time last night. That was an awesome event.
Did y'all go out drinking together after?
No,
I suspected that happened.
He's already said, he's already said off the air, Stephen has, and we can give a little background if we are so inclined. He said, I'm the one that said the newly redesigned Louisiana state flag, I said the nest looks like French fries.
Yeah.
And I say that to everybody that comes in, and invariably they all say, you've ruined the flag for me.
Yeah, you have.
We need to go back. You just said that.
Well, yeah, you've ruined the flag, but more importantly, you might have ruined this interview. When I look at you right now, the flag is hanging behind you, so I'm trying to think about whatever you're asking. All I can think of is how fast can I get out of here and go get some French fries? And that is tough.
Tots. We'll do an all-call for tater tots. Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, specifically you, the president and CEO. You were here last night for the Doty Horton get-together. And we talked a little bit on and off the air before. The Trump economy for America is blowing up. In fact, what is the new, I guess they just released this morning, the unemployment rate, 3.7%. Is that the low? Is the Trump economy pulling Louisiana along? Are we taking full advantage of that which is going on around us? Are we able to compete? I know it's a long question. And if not, why not?
Yeah, it is roaring. The national economy is roaring. And it's pretty simple, economics on what it is. They came in and they cut taxes, and they repealed a lot of burdensome regulations. They put the market back to work. They let the economy start working. And what happened? Boom. Investment started. Growth happened. It's all across the country. So, yeah, you're seeing record levels of growth across the country. And it's literally, if we have another year or so of this, you're talking about a run that starts to look like those early 2000s, late 90s runs, which is impressive. In Louisiana, we're experiencing some of that. Now, we are getting pulled along, I do believe. I think there are things we are doing here that don't make it easy enough to benefit from that national economy. We got to fix that stuff. But look, the national economy is so darn good that it's almost, despite some of the things we're doing, we're going to benefit from it, which is a good thing. I'm all for that.
$300 million surplus is now what they're saying we have now in Baton Rouge. Is that a direct result of the economy? Is that mismanagement? Nobody knew what they were doing when they were doing the budget figures. Combination of the two.
Well, it's a couple things. First of all, throughout the several sessions, if you were paying attention, I know y'all look at this closely, there was a lot of people saying, and I was one of them, that what are the real numbers? No one trusts the numbers. What are these taxes going to raise? What are we really bringing in? How much do you really need to provide affordable health care and fund LSU football and all that stuff? What are the real numbers? And no one quite believed the numbers that were out there. And I would say right now it shows that there was some fuzzy math in some of that. So that's part of it. Mm-hmm. The other part of it is 2 years ago when we came in, everyone remembers that the legislature and the governor went in and raised that temporary penny for
Mm-hmm.
two and a half years ago. Everyone remembers that. What they also forget is they also went and targeted some exemptions and credits that dealt with business and individuals alike there. Well, for the next 2 years, and you have those exemptions and credits that have been pulled back, and everyone's got them in their pocket, it doesn't show up for a year or two because it doesn't show up on the returns. This year it starts to show up. So the other taxes that passed 2.5 years ago,
Mm-hmm.
we're starting to see that now come in the state coffers. That's the second leg of the stool. The third leg is construction. That we are building chemical manufacturing facilities, yes, in Louisiana, but big time in Texas. The Louisiana industrial contractor community is the best in the world. They get recruited all over. They're building a lot of that stuff. So our contractors are building a ton of stuff. Some here, a lot in Texas. That has created income increases on that. So those three things are the biggest piece of driving that $300 million.
Mm-hmm.
When you talked about the Trump economy versus the Louisiana economy, and you look across the South, when you see Texas, and I think it's Mississippi and Georgia, and maybe Arkansas, I don't remember. But most of the states across the South over the last year have cut taxes and reduced regulation. That's not exactly what's happened in Louisiana. How much more difficult does that make it for us to compete?
It's a headwind, no doubt. It's a challenge. And look, we talk to the companies every day that are saying, all right, look, because of the federal laws, we now have money to spend. Because of technology evolution and energy, we can find gas at a cheap rate. We're ready to build these facilities. And we're looking at Louisiana, Texas. When we look at Texas, no personal income tax, no corporate income tax, a lot of less political shenanigans, I'll say like that, a better legal climate, a easier to find workforce. That's what Texas has, that's, along with all the ports and pipelines and all that stuff that we have. When they come here, they want to give us a fair shake, but we've got a much tougher tax code. Our regulatory environment is much trickier. You got to kiss more rings here. The workforce is more of a challenge. And so, look, some of that investment is going to spill over here just by, the barrel not being big enough, but that's not good enough. This is a growth era in chemical and traditional manufacturing. We should be gobbling up market share right now to make sure that we go on a 30, 40, 50-year run. Right now, we're getting table scraps, and we're celebrating those table scraps. I'm all for that, but I want the real meal.
We have a mayoral race going on in our community, as you're well aware, I'm sure. What would you tell those candidates who want to be mayor of Shreveport on what they should be doing to bring in those businesses that you talk about? How should they go about doing that?
At a mayor level, what I would say is too many mayors in the state that I talk to feel like, the school system's not my job. Go talk to the school board. I would say there's no more important issue in any city in Louisiana than your local school system. And I would sit down and figure out how we do a better job of training kids to read and write and stay off drugs and have good soft skills. Those 4 things, every company I talk to, whether you're a manufacturer or white collar, they want those 4 things. Even good schools can up their game on those fronts. And so if I were mayor, I would say my number one job is to make sure we do whatever it takes to provide a better school system, because A, it'll help the workforce you're looking for, and B, it'll force families to move back into your area. Every family I know wants to go find a good school. That's going to grow your population in a healthy, organic way. Tricks and exemptions and credits and all that stuff, those are Band-Aids that are kind of your worst case scenario. You got to get the basics right, and it all starts with education. That's what I would say.
Stephen Wagaspack, he is president and CEO of the Louisiana Association. Sorry, I was smelling French fries. Of Business and Industry. More is on the way, 19 past 8 o'clock. KEEL traffic coming up right now.
Keeping an eye right now on some backed up traffic on I-20 westbound near Spring and Market. And we have some traffic delays on Airline Drive near Old Minden Road in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline. That's 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast: partly sunny, hot and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
Twenty past 8 o'clock. Here's KEEL Sports.
Good morning from the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger. This is Tim Fletcher. Captain Shreve kick-started the football week with a resounding 23-2 win over Parkway in District 1 5A action Thursday night. The Gators' DJ Fleming racked up over 180 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns for Shreve to help them improve to 5-1 overall, 1-1 in district play. The typical smorgasbord of games awaits fans tonight. District games in 5A and 4A dot the schedule. A couple of interesting non-district games highlight the ledger, with Calvary hosting Loyola and North Webster entertaining Logansport. In the NFL, Tom Brady threw the 500th touchdown pass of his career as part of his 3-touchdown, 341-yard night. He also snuck in a rushing touchdown in the 38-24 win over the Colts. The Patriots are now 3-2, Colts 1-4. Houston rallied past Tulsa in college football 41-26. Former Northwood star Marquez Stevenson had 7 catches for 41 yards and a touchdown for the Cougars. In National League divisional play, Mike Mustaka singled in Christian Yelich with 2 outs in the 10th inning to give Milwaukee a 3-2 win over Colorado in Game 1 of their series. At Chavez Ravine, the Dodgers' Hyun Jin Ryu threw 7 shutout innings, and L.A. clubbed 3 homers in a 6-0 win over Atlanta to get their best-of-5 set underway. The Astros host Cleveland this afternoon in Game 1 of their series. The Red Sox and Yankees play Game 1 tonight as well. And former Calvary star and LSU All-American Sam Burns shot an even par round of 72 in his debut as a full-fledged member of the PGA Tour in the Safeway Open. Sepp Straka leads after 1 round with a score of 9 under. From the sports desk of 1130 The Tiger, this is Tim Fletcher.
1017 FM, 710 Keel. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty in for a while. Is Louisiana Association? No, I get the first question.
No, I got to go back to something.
So do I. Louisiana Association of Business and Industry CEO Stephen Wagespack. Okay, go ahead.
We tied him to his chair. The $300 million surplus. Since it's there, let's get lawmakers together when they meet in the spring, and let's roll that temporary sales tax off the books. It's supposed to be on the books for 6 years. Let's go ahead and get it off now. We got the money. We're good. Am I pipe dreaming?
No, I mean, maybe so. I mean, next session's political climate, I'll be honest with you, who the heck knows after the midterms what that is. It's an election year next year. A lot of folks in their last term. That could be a lot of momentum for something like that, or it could be a roadblock. I don't know yet. My guess is they're going to say, no, we're going to spend that $300 million on what the Constitution allows us to, either roads or, higher ed buildings or pension debt or whatever. Constitution says how you got to spend that money. And what the economists in the building said is, look, this surplus, don't get used to it. It's a blip on the radar. And so when someone brings that bill to do that, what the left is going to say, oh, wait, this isn't going to be here next year. We're going to create a bubble. So you're going to hear that pushback from the administration, and the Democrats will know because the legislative economists are saying it's a one-year blip on the radar.
Okay.
We were talking, well, it was something you said in the first segment, and you were listing what in your mind are Louisiana's the biggest problems that keep our economy from growing. And you went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one of those jumped out at me, and I wrote it down. Kiss the rings. Explain what you mean by that, and explain why, because I talk about this all the time, specifically the differences in Louisiana and Texas, and a lot of reasons why Texas works and Louisiana occasionally not so well. And I make the point, to use your lexicon, kiss the rings. There are far more rings to kiss in Louisiana than there are in Texas.
Oh, and there's numerous examples of this. It's one of our largest problems that no one wants to talk about, but I'll give you the best way I can illustrate the example. So as part of my job, we go to Texas every now and then and go talk to companies and basically say, hey, how can you invest more in Louisiana? What can we do to entice you? Tell us the story. And a lot of times I'll hear something like, look, Wags, let me tell you what actually happens. So if we're thinking about investing in a new plant or facility or expansion or upgrade or whatever, and we're looking at Brownsville, Texas, or Lake Charles, Louisiana, and we're trying to decide which one, we know internally at corporate headquarters, here's what we got to do. In Texas, go sit down with the local county officials, the economic developers, figure out the deal, look at the school system, make it work at the county level. In Louisiana, hire lobbyists and run to the Capitol. Think about that dichotomy right there. Every company,
it sounds like a shakedown operation.
It's embarrassing is what it is. Every company out there knows the gig. It's not that Louisiana's a bad place. We got great people, all that stuff. I can go on and on. But if you're coming to invest here, you're trained over the years, go hire lobbyists and run to the Capitol, whereas in Texas, you go sit down at the local level and figure out solutions. We got to get to that level where it's not about kissing the rings. It's about letting our great attributes actually sell themselves. And that gets back to local control. That means depopulating the power of that capital and stop forcing everything to run through the sieve of the state capitol building.
Let's go ahead.
Speaking of kissing the rings, next year is a governor's race. What are you anticipating seeing in that? A lot of people are saying John Bel Edwards is done, that he's going to be beaten by a strong Republican contender. You expect that? And what do you expect to see from the candidates for governor next year? What do you want to see?
Well, let me give you a different answer in the election first. 2019, I would say, is the most important election year Louisiana's probably had, maybe in a lifetime, but definitely in the last couple of decades. And here's why. You've got massive term limits next year. Let's put governor aside for 1 second. Forget who's governor for a second. You're going to have 55 to 65 new legislators elected next year. Those new legislators are going to come in, and in 2020, the new U.S. Census is going to come out. And in 2021, they're going to draw the new lines. These are guys and gals who've been in the Capitol for 6 months, don't even know where the bathrooms are. Now they're drawing the lines. That same term limit crowd is going to be there for 12 years. They're going to draw them again in 2031. So the people you elect next fall for the legislature are going to be drawing the next 20 to 30 years of lines for your legislators, your members of Congress, your judges, your PSC, your Supreme Court, everything. So if you like Mike Johnson as your congressman, you might want to pay attention on who's getting elected to the legislature next year. If you like your local legislators like Dodie Horton we talked about last night, whoever it is, you might want to get involved in who you're going to be putting for office next year in the legislature, because that next legislature, before they even know really where they're going to park their car in the Capitol, are going to be making 20 to 30-year decisions in that building. So right now we are jamming at Lobby on trying to find candidates who are not the same old, new fresh faces, people who know how to run a business, people who know what it means like to hire people and make tough decisions, people who have entrepreneurial spirit. I want people who are not your typical same old people run to the legislature to go make these decisions.
And what do you want to see from the candidates for governor?
For governor, it's a real plan. Look, I love talking points and bumper stickers like the next guy, but that's not going to get it done. I want a real plan. What are your positions on taxes? What is your position on legal climate? What is your position on a constitutional convention? Are you ready to go there? Are you ready to depopulate that power in the Capitol and go to local control? If you're into that, I'll be the first one knocking doors for you. And so, look, I know the same names that y'all know who might run for governor. The names aren't important to me. It's what their plan is. And I don't care what party or where they come from. If they want to do the real stuff that we've known we've had to do forever, I'm ready to bear hug that person and help them get elected. I haven't seen that come forward yet by anyone.
Stephen Wagaspank, he is president and CEO of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. We got lots more questions. Tell me you can stick around.
As long as you take that French fry flag down.
29 past 8 o'clock, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Ruben's here. Friday morning traffic update.
The intersection at Hollywood Avenue and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast. Today will be hot and humid, partly sunny with a high of 91, patchy clouds and warm, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm for tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm Heather Zayer. Your AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, hot and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
And that the agency made its own decisions in the report. He also says such acts of misconduct are a problem that need to be dealt with, and he hopes the Republican Party is willing to take the lead.
There's a problem in America with sexual harassment. It is prevalent, but I'm convinced that Judge Kavanaugh is innocent.
Today, the Senate plans to vote to end the debate on the Kavanaugh nomination with a full floor vote tomorrow. Longtime North Caddo High teacher and coach Les Mason killed in a car crash Thursday morning. Mason was on his way to a special ed training session when his car collided with a dump truck that failed to yield at a stop sign. Counselors will be on campus at the school today to help any teachers or students deal with a loss. In a statement, school officials say Mason was more than just a coach or teacher. He was a father figure who was an integral part of the school and community. A patrolman hit while directing traffic. Matt Parker with that.
A Greenwood police officer is recovering after being hit by a pickup truck on Highway 169 Thursday night. Officer Chris Ferris was directing traffic around the disabled tractor trailer and tow truck when he was struck by the pickup. Ferris was taken to the hospital for treatment and was released overnight. He's a 6-year veteran of the force. From 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL, I'm Matt Parker.
LSU's Board of Supervisors approve a change to the admission standards. The new rules will no longer rely heavily on ACT and SAT scores and will look more at essays, recommendation letters, and extracurricular activities. The Caddo Sheriff's Office will be looking for some new recruits this weekend. The recruiting event will be held at Sheriff Safety Town tomorrow from 9 to 2. The event will give those interested in a career in law enforcement a chance to meet staff members and learn about open positions on the force. Vice President Mike Pence discussing the administration's policies toward China, accusing that government of attempting to advance their political interests within the U.S.
Our intelligence community says that China is targeting U.S. state and local governments and officials to exploit any divisions between federal and local levels on policy. It's using wedge issues like trade tariffs to advance Beijing's political influence.
Pence making his remarks at the Hudson Institute. An Arizona beef company recalling millions of pounds of ground beef that might be contaminated by salmonella.
The CDC says JBS Tolleson is recalling 6.5 million pounds of ground beef. It was produced and packaged from late July through the first week of September. So far, 57 people have been sickened in 16 states. 14 people have been hospitalized, though thankfully no one has died. The meat went out to retail locations, including restaurants.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. And a 2-year-old in Utah sent an envelope filled with more than $1,000 in cash into a shredder. Mom says the little boy helps her shred the junk mail, and he apparently found the envelope and just thought he was helping her out. Well, believe it or not, there is a government office that can help. They will have to mail the shredded bills back in Ziploc bags, and in 1 to 2 years, they can get their money back. I'm Erin McCarty on 101.7 FM and 710 KEEL.
.101.7 FM, 710 KEEL. Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. KEEL app, a free download from Office Furniture Source. Stephen Weigesback is president of the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Talked a little bit in the last segment, as we talked about the Louisiana economy, how it's being pulled along, new jobless rate, 3.7, holy cow. And he talked a little bit about that. But I want to get back to the governor's race, specifically a lot of people, a lot of smart people, think John Bell is, to use college basketball lexicon, one and done. You see him as a markedly more formidable candidate. Fair?
Oh, that race is wide open, I think. Absolutely. I don't think anything is a given in that race.
Why is that? Because, like I said, and look, you travel the state.
Yeah.
You talk to a lot of important people, elected, in business, etc. And I'm sure you see, as do I, that people of our political leaning think, he's a one-term guy.
Well, I think it's several factors. First of all, let's go back to that national economy. I mean, it's doing really well. And if it continues on this track, that's a good thing. People are feeling the benefits of that. And so if you don't have kitchen table stress from financially, that's not an agitated electorate a lot of times. So that's one piece. The other piece, in all candor, what I think the governor does really well is he doesn't. His basically message is, look, I want something good to happen, and I want someone to bring me the plan. If they don't, they're being partisan. And that's kind of his message on most issues. And so, he kind of has risen above some of that with his messaging, and it has flown through the media pretty effectively. And so I think most people who aren't really paying attention, they're just driving carpool, going to work back and forth. They're not really in the weeds of this stuff. They see the national economy growing. They see the stress on their local finances, maybe either holding water or up a little bit, and they see a governor who goes around the state and says, "Look, I'm open to anything if someone just bring me a plan." That's not a bad message for a voter who's just kind of like casually living their life and not really into politics.
You may have heard our segment in the earlier hour talking about what businesses we need to attract. You represent businesses, Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. What businesses should folks be going out and trying to bring to our state? Is it the big manufacturing companies? Is it the small mom and pop shops? Is it somewhere in between? What is most beneficial to our state?
Look, you got to, any state that's going out hunting for jobs, you got to figure out what your best sales pitch is. I mean, you can't sell something you're not. Right now, we've got low natural gas prices. We've got tremendous pipeline infrastructure. We've got a number of high quality ports. We've got this great river. We've got a great workforce in the sense that for years and decades they have worked in these industries, so it's an ingrained knowledge. That's all our strengths. And at the same time, because of shale technology and natural gas being so low, there is a manufacturing, specifically those manufacturers that need natural gas, like chemical, is a boom across the world. Those things are being built. All that capital that was held up during the Obama years, it's overflowing right now in those industries. And so Louisiana should be on a very aggressive sales pitch to go get those big spots. If you look at the economic gains we're having in Louisiana right now, it's primarily driven by the Lake Charles industrial boom that's happening and the construction going on there. We can do that on steroids if we really went and targeted that. Instead, the last couple of years, we have beat up on manufacturing. We have raised manufacturing input taxes. We have raised business utility taxes. We have raised machinery equipment taxes. We have gone out and changed the ITEP program. We have made it harder for manufacturers to want to stay and operate here. They're going to come some because we have all the stuff I talked about, but we could be having so much more right now. So if we're going to go out and try to build right now, you go after those big facilities. And the reason why is no one benefits more from that than small business. If you're a caterer, a dry cleaner, a valve company, whatever, you supply the big guys. You don't supply air. You don't service nothing. You service big investment. That's what small business lives on. So every small business person I talk to, they say, give me the big guys. Because when the big guys are here, that's when my business goes up.
1017 FM 710 KEEL, Louisiana Association of Business and Industry President and CEO, Stephen Wagaspack. One more segment. Tell me yes. Erin is she's texting me questions she wants to ask.
Oh, yeah.
You're sitting right next to each other. Why are you texting each other?
I'm itching to ask you this. I'm itching.
Hang on just a couple of seconds. More on the way.
You got some Benadryl?
Traffic update. Traffic update right now. Here's Ruben.
The intersection at Hollywood Avenue and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast: partly sunny, hot, and humid with a high of 91 today. Warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight. An afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert and Erin. Another segment with LABI, President, CEO Stephen Weigesback. There's an he's an organizational consultant, motivational speaker, Simon Sinek. Am I saying it right? And he says the key to any organization, Greg was talking about this yesterday, he said you have to identify your why. In the last segment, right at the end, you perfectly described the Louisiana why, what we have to offer, what's the purpose, what's the goal. Can you help? Can you help Shreveport identify our why? You get around the state, you get a sense of what Northwest Louisiana is, Northeast, south of I-10, etc. The amount of time you spend here, what is Shreveport's why? What are we lacking, and what would we need to get us back on that right economic path?
That's a great question. So Lawrence Scott just came out with an economic study for the whole state and broke down each MSA, local economic area.
Yeah.
And what he basically says is the reason why South Louisiana is doing very well right now is because of low natural gas prices, all the industrial boom, et cetera. Up in Shreveport, that low natural gas price has kind of cut down on the shale investment, so it's not necessarily always a win up here when you have low natural gas prices as compared to maybe down in South Louisiana. What I would tell you, just my gut in talking to folks up here, what is the why up here? I think it's probably two things. One, your proximity to the northeast Texas money, business, industry, et cetera. Part of Lake Charles's benefit is what it's close to South Texas. I think everything, transportation hub, service hub, industry hub. I mean, that is a short pipeline to a lot of money, investment dollars in Dallas. So maximizing that location you have that no other state and area in Louisiana has, that's one thing. The second thing, and this may sound corny, but I absolutely mean it, is the people here. You have a very unique caliber of person, of community, just last night we talked about this at Doty's thing and dealing with the legislators. I deal with legislators from every delegation, the Bossier especially, but the Shreveport-Bossier delegation is uniquely talented in smarts, in heart, in moral values. There's a unique skill set in the people you have here, and I would maximize that as well. To me, that's the two things. Obviously, you got the port. That's one thing. You've got the casino industry here that's growing. That's one thing. Most of your manufacturing here is more durable goods as compared to more of the other type. Durable goods is great when the economy's roaring. Whenever the national economy contracts, durable goods are the first thing that consumers stop buying, and so you have a little bit of up and down on that. So if you can shift your manufacturing base to less durable good, I guess that would be what I would do next. But your main focus here is your proximity to Northeast Texas money and investment, and the caliber of people you have, which truly is unique to other parts of the state.
The governor took a trip out to Hollywood and trying to lure the film industries back, meeting with Netflix and Showtime, HBO, all of them. He had a bunch of meetings, apparently. Was that a nice, sweet vacay for him? Or was it, do you think, a productive and could be, a viable meeting that he went out there and will actually bring back film productions?
Time will tell whether it brings back productions. I can't tell you that until we get a couple of years from now. What I can tell you is that, every incentive program the state has gets a lot of close scrutiny. I'm not sure the movie incentive gets as much scrutiny as it probably deserves. There's a lot of study and analysis out there that questions whether for the amount you spend on it, whether you get that much ripple effect back home. Most of the studies say you don't. You pay more for what you get. And so that's a concern. Now, the administration says they got some new study coming out that's going to show, oops, we were wrong. It's really a huge return on investment win. We'll see what that study says. But our recent history is it's a very expensive program if you're trying to secure long-term jobs. Now, short-term, you get a cool project, you get an infusion of jobs and all that stuff. That's cool. But if you're looking for long-term systemic growth, you'd probably rather spend your money more on workforce development than these types of, come see us for a 6 months program.
Mm-hmm.
We got about 2 minutes till the break. Do you want to break early, come back for a longer segment? How you want to do this?
Yeah, let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back. I had a couple other things on my list.
Yeah, okay. It's 848, 1017 FM, 710 Keel. Your Money Now is on the way. Hang on, more with Stephen Weigesback, Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. That is next on Keel. 8:49. Here's Keel traffic.
The intersection at Hollywood Avenue and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
Your AccuWeather forecast, partly sunny, hot, and humid with a high of 91 today, warm with patchy clouds, low 72 tonight, an afternoon shower or thunderstorm tomorrow. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm meteorologist Heather Zayer.
1017 FM and 710 Keel. Get more breaking news and trending talk at KEELnews.com. KEELnews.com.
.1017 FM, 710 Keel, Robert J. Wright and Erin McCarty. Another quick segment, well, not so quick, with Stephen Wagasback from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Am I pointing in the direction of the GM facility, which is empty? As,
somewhere
yonder way.
sort of
about
there.
2 or 3 or 4 miles from here.
It's
the point
not
being,
far.
I had a strange idea yesterday, and I had read that President Trump, when he's sort of putting together his campaign schedule, it's really not all that well organized. It's basically on his whim. Like on Monday, he goes, man, Duluth, Minnesota is a nice place. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
tomorrow he might go Memphis barbecue. Let's
literally.
go.
So I'm thinking we in Shreveport might have a pretty good chance of getting Donald Trump to come here. And I said, then I'd read where he went to like Charleston or somewhere, and people were lining up for an early evening speech as early as 4 in the morning. So I'm thinking Donald Trump at Independence Stadium could do 25, 30, 40,000 people without trying. But then Erin said, no, What we need to do is get Donald Trump to come here, and he, being the greatest real estate / business / developer in the history of the world, give a speech from the General Motors plant and say, this is a great place. This is a great town. This is a great facility. It's empty. Who wants it? Is that preposterous an idea that the President of the United States could actually move, as in rent or sell, our General Motors plant?
I think it's genius. I think we should do it. You got to figure out how you get the ultimate deal maker to come here and view it as a deal. That's the question. But absolutely. And I mean, to me, you
can't be more than a couple of degrees of separation.
I mean, to me, the sales pitch to him on that is, hey, look, if you come here and do that, it's not just Louisiana, it's Arkansas, Texas, and Louisiana.
You taking notes on this? You taking notes?
I got it.
Please
you
keep
bet.
going. You're on a roll.
It's the 3-state trifecta. How many other spots can you go? Give the great speech, get the big crowd, and say this isn't just for one state. This is a 3-state win. You pull from all three. Hey, there's electoral votes all over the place with that speech.
I can't imagine if the President of the United States stood out at the GM plant, empty as it is, and said, this is a great place, this is a great town, somebody needs to come here, that the phone wouldn't be ringing off the hook by noon.
Donald, consider this the invite. Robert and Erin are making this specific invite. Come down here and make Bossier great again.
Last time I saw a president at the GM plant, it was Bill Clinton, and he was talking about getting busy in the back of an El Camino. So this would be a little bit different.
Hopefully so.
That's a true story.
What are you doing the rest of the day? I'm intrigued by, because I asked you a couple of seconds ago.
Yep.
I said, so the helicopter is outside. You said, not quite. Last year you put in excess of 75,000 miles on your car. Wow. Where are you going next? Where are you going from here?
Well, after this, I'm going to Calumet Refining. This is Manufacturing Day in Louisiana, and actually the whole month is Manufacturing Week, and so we're going to spend the whole month going around meeting with manufacturing members. And Robert Mills out there at the Calumet Refining facility, I'm going to go out, visit with him, take a look at the facility. That's an awesome facility here, hiring people here. They have great paying jobs for folks in the area. Robert is a great guy. He's on our board. He's actually thinking about maybe running for office next year, and if you don't know Robert Mills, get to know him because he is a stud. But go and visit with them, and then throughout the month I'll be doing that all throughout Louisiana. Go and visit manufacturers, learn about what they do, what they need, and also you realize that manufacturing jobs, their average annual salary is $85,000. $85,000. That is awesome money if you're for manufacturing, and that's the average job there. So the more manufacturing jobs we get, the more you elevate people into a better state of life.
You know what I've taken? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wags, if somebody's listening and they're thinking, you know what, I could be a good candidate, I could be a good lawmaker. How do I get Wags' group to support me? What do they need to do?
Well, right now what we're going around is we're doing something we call candidate boot camps. We're trying to encourage people, if you think about running for office, we're going to come to an area near you pretty soon and just give you the ABCs of what it takes to turn some butterflies in your stomach and a thought in your head into running for office. It's pretty darn easy. I can't tell you the number of employers I talk to. They say, I'm not a lawyer, I couldn't do it. The last thing the Capitol needs is more lawyers. We need small business people, entrepreneurs. Go to our website, labi.org. Contact us. We'll tell you when we're going to be in a town near you. We'll tell you how you can turn that, that issue in your head into running for office. It's pretty darn easy.
One final question before you go, and thank you for joining us for the whole hour. We talk about Louisiana and Texas. We did earlier this hour. We talk about that in this building and in this room all the time. And you talked about smaller government, the upcoming gubernatorial race, but specifically a constitutional convention. Is that a pipe dream? Am I spitting into a fan and thinking that would be an awesome idea? Is there any possibility?
If you are, I'm spitting in the same fan you are because I'm all in. I think we got to do it. It's going to happen. Next year, we're going to talk about it. Now, that building doesn't want it to happen. When I say that building, I'm talking about the Capitol. They don't want that. They like the everything greased just the way it is.
Kissed.
Absolutely. They like it just the way it is. But we're going to push it again next year. If it passes, great. If it doesn't, we're going to make it part of that 19 elections. And if you're running for legislature, governor, or dog catcher, we're going to be there asking you, where are you in a constitutional convention? And if the people start demanding it, it's going to happen. It just maybe a couple years to get there.
Do you think it's going to take the vox populi, so to speak, to make that an election time issue? Or do you think this is not something that
this movement will not come from the top down? The top doesn't want it. It's got to be a bottom up movement, just like most big bold reform movements are. This is one of those. And look, when you get a convention, that's not mission accomplished. If the convention is passed, that means we need people around the state to run to be delegates. We need new fresh faces in the convention to make it work.
Well, we've already said you and I are in. I'm running.
I'm in.
I got 10 friends that are ready to go. Stephen, Wagaspack, Louisiana Association of Business and Industry, an awesome hour. Thank you very much. Great to see you last night.
Hey, you as well. Thanks for the invite.
Back Monday morning, 6 till 9. Robert J. Wright, Erin McCarty, 101.7 FM, 710 Keel. Here comes, it's Ruben, isn't it? Traffic update.
The intersection at Hollywood Avenue and Linwood Avenue is dealing with some slow-moving traffic right now. And we have some traffic delays on East Texas Street near Traffic Street in Bossier City. If you have anything to report to us, please give us a call at our Planet Fitness Traffic Hotline, 687-ROAD.
KeelAccuWeather.com forecast. Rain for the weekend, but partly cloudy today, high near 90.
Breaking news and trending talk. This is 101.7 FM and 710 Keel.